Chapter 3. The First Night.
It seemed like only minutes when the wolf returned to his home, which turned out to be a palace made of silver and gold. It sparkled as they entered, the evening sun glistening across the smooth walls. The wolf stopped, allowing the princess off. She placed a shaky foot on the marble floor. The speed of the ride left the princess breathless. Once steady, the wolf stood again on all fours. He looked at her, his blue eyes gazing at her tired emerald ones.
You are a brave woman. You did not hesitate once to save your father.
Aerith was taken aback. No one ever considered her a woman. Even though she just turned 16, everyone still considered her a child, hardly a teenager, but not a woman. After regaining her composure, she responded to him.
I love him. My father is very important to me. Thank you for sparing him.
The wolf nodded when his curiosity piqued.
May I ask your name, princess?
Aerith. And yours?
Cloud. I am sorry for my rudeness, but now that you are here, you are free to move about any part of my palace. Anything you need shall be provided for you. My servants will attend to you. I shall accompany you during meals and during any time you need me, if you wish for my company. There will be times where I must leave my palace, alone. It is dangerous in the forest, so forgive me, but I must impede you from leaving.
Aerith nodded. What did she know of this strange place? She did not even know where her home was from here. Even if she did leave, she would be lost and would only assume the wolf would find her before anyone else did. She looked down, unable to look up the striking gaze Cloud was giving her. Cloud padded forward to her and sat behind her. When he sat, he was near eye level with her.
You find me displeasing?
No, it's just your eyes. They're beautiful.
Unknown to her, under the thick fur, Cloud was blushing slightly. He turned his gaze from her and began to walk. Aerith looked down, embarrassed herself. It was true, though. Cloud's eyes were like the deepest blue she had ever seen. When she looked up, she found the wolf several feet ahead of her. He beckoned Aerith to follow, and she did. They climbed a tall staircase that twisted around. At the top of the staircase, they came to a chamber, which was to be Aerith's bedroom. The wolf nudged the silver door open. Cloud entered first. Aerith hesitantly stood away. She knew she was free to come and go as Cloud said, but the idea of being in a tower seemed isolated. Aerith had never been alone in her life. Even when she slept, her nursemaid was in the room until she fell asleep, and her guards were always at her door. Her pet Red 13 was usually at her feet or at the side of her bed.
Come, princess.
The wolf called, snapping her from her daze. Aerith entered, finding her breath taken away. It was beautiful. Silver walls with golden silk tapestries. A marble bed sat in the middle with fine silk beddings. Aerith could feel a plush rug under her feet as she walked into the room. Near the bed was a small table covered in fruits for her to enjoy. The wolf watched her examine the room, her finger brushing across the furniture. However, she noticed two things. There was no windows, and the fireplace was so dimly lit that the room was shrouded in shadows despite the bright colors.
Is this to your liking?
It is lovely.
You seem disappointed.
It seems dark.
Yes, the fire will be put out soon.
Cloud noted, but turned his attention elsewhere.
Anything you need, clothing, blankets, and other necessities are in your closet and drawers. If you wish for dinner before you sleep or a bath, my servants will attend to you. Tomorrow I shall give you a tour of the castle unless you wish otherwise.
No, not at all. How will I contact your servants?
There's a bell on your night table. Ring it whenever you need of something.
Sure enough, a tiny bell sat on the nightstand. It was shiny and silver, but also tiny. Aerith nodded, nearly sinking to the floor. Everything to be happening so fast. How could servants hear a bell from all the way up here? How did he know the clothing would fit her? Yet more importantly, would she ever see her family again? Cloud saw her restlessness.
Rest, Aerith. It has been a long day.
Aerith closed her eyes. His voice brushed over her like a shiver. She wrapped her arms around herself as he brushed past her, his fur tickling her skin. Cloud left her. And Aerith found herself alone. Not wanting to sleep in her dress, she explored the closet. Inside, she found several different garments, all beautiful and very expensive material. She changed from her dress into a silk white gown that was in her closet. The silk nightgown fell off her curves. It was low cut, showing off her round breast. There was a slit on the side that came up to her mid-thigh. And she felt very out of place in such an item of clothing. She felt almost naked. She had always worn modest clothing, even too. She sat in front of her vanity mirror. She undid her hair from its thick braid, letting her hair fall down into massive brown curls. In such an outfit, she felt like a newlywed bride waiting for her husband on her wedding night. She pushed that absurd thought from her mind and lay on bed. As she lay there, the fire became dimmer, and the room was slowly enveloped in darkness. The room was quiet, and she felt trapped. She wanted to reach for the bell and awaken someone to fetch her from this room. No windows, no light, made Aerith feel like she was in prison, not a room. Certainly not her bedroom at her palace home. The idea of not being in her home made her cry. She realized now she had not even said a goodbye to her family before she left with Cloud. She agreed to go with him to save her father. Yet what did he want with her? Would he kill her? Ideas flooded Aerith's mind until she felt herself sobbing uncontrollably. She buried her face into her hands, unable to sleep. So much that she did not even hear when the door to her room opened. When the door closed, Aerith jumped, clutching the sheet to her. She heard the familiar sound of Cloud's claws on the floor, but they stopped somewhere in the dark room. She could not see Cloud anywhere.
What troubles you?
It was then she realized he was next to her. Aerith scrambled away. Her feet hit the floor, and she nearly knocked into the nightstand with her body.
Why are you in my room in the middle of the night?
She wrapped her arms around her body. Despite the darkness, she felt exposed in such a garment. She wondered if Cloud could even see her.
I can hear you crying. It bothers me to know you're upset.
It's my home.
Cloud frowned, although she could not see it.
I'll stay with you then, Princess. Come here to me, Princess. You're cold. My fur will keep you warm.
No, it is alright.
Aerith, come here.
His voice was hypnotizing, that Aerith found herself walking toward him. She did not think it was unusual sleeping next to an animal. After all, she used to sleep with her pet curled at her feet. However, this was a wolf, and one that could speak. She found the bed, and fingers traced against the bedding until she found a soft, warm pelt. The young princess placed her hands against the pelt, enjoying the silky, warm feeling. She lay down on top of it. The warmth it provided her was comforting. As if she was home, safe in her bed. In her moment of bliss, the princess forgot all about the wolf. He was watching her through the darkness, watching her enjoying the pelt. As she lay there, he moved forward and brushed his fingertips over her wrist. From the sudden intrusion, she went to move away when she felt two strong hands keeping her firmly in place. A man was in her room. Someone was invading her. She let out a cry. When she felt a soft kiss on her cheek.
Don't cry, princess. I cannot stand seeing you being so sad.
That voice belonged to...
You're the wolf, Cloud.
I am. I can only take my human shape at night until dawn. When night falls, I can remove my pellet and walk as I truly am, a man.
Please let me go. I don't feel comfortable.
He released her slowly, touching the softness of her arms. She felt him move across the side of the bed and lay down. Aerith clutched the belt tightly. She did not see where Cloud was exactly.
Forgive me for the intrusion, princess. I will be spending a night with you.
Why?
Because I...
Unable to say what he wanted, when he stopped. He was staring at her. She could not see him, but she knew he was. The young princess curled up against the pelt, turning away from him.
Can you light a candle so I may see you?
No, I am sorry.
But why not?
Hush, sleep, my princess, and I promise we can talk more tomorrow.
Aerith was reluctant to sleep with him here. Even though he was on the far end of the bed, the closeness of him made her nervous. She was a proper woman above all, and would never consider being in such a position. Absently, she clutched the pelt close to her, hugging it like a barrier that would protect her from the man near her. Aerith thought she would be unable to sleep, yet she fell asleep soon after. Cloud listened to her gentle breathing and smiled. Cloud moved toward her, placing his arm protecting around her. Aerith did not awaken when he gently placed her against him, her back to him and his face buried in her brown locks. Cloud breathed in her scent and content. The two slept peacefully through the night.